I have heard things of great beauty. What's up, guys? That guy with a pencil here. Fun fact: I do bring to have it on and keep it on me at all times. And another fun fact: is this thing on? Okay, it's on. Hallelujah. But here we are to do a double review, live reaction and review, because I'm behind again. And ultimately, I was half tempted. I'll be honest. I was half tempted to wait for a third chapter to drop this week, because I'm recording this already after the 2 chapters have dropped for a while now. But I was like, a triple review of Four Nights would be like 3 hours. And like, I'm willing to record for that long. But like, do y'all want an endgame length video from me? I think I kind of push it with the hour plus anyway. So ultimately, I held off on that. So instead, I'm deciding to do a live reaction and review for these 2 chapters. Oh, sorry about that. But essentially, I've heard things. I'm excited, and I can't wait. So let's not waste any more time, and let's hop right into chapter 204 of Fleeting Resistance. Just based on what I heard, I want to pre-draw it so bad, just because I have it on me, keep it on me at all times. I want to just... Oh. Well, who knows? Maybe these chapters won't be peak. Maybe everything I heard was a lie. Maybe I was deceived, bamboozled, beguiled. I don't think so. But let's see. What is this? O, ro, lo, so, kask. Interesting? And then, you know what? Actually, now look at this. This is a much better design for World. Okay, so I'm guessing the designs from last chapter really were incomplete. Because I like the extra flower detailing. Now I think about it, it's very interesting that Worldane is consistently associated with flowers. I wonder if that's going to mean anything. Because it'll be like, I have reread all of Four Nights at this point. From part 1 all the way through part 2. Really should have like stopped in part 1 and just kept my notes there, but I kept going. So essentially, I now remember Worldane made lizard people. Like she just made lizard people. And that was never elaborated on. And we know she has direct ties to Merlin. But we just don't know what the ties are. Merlin mentioned her to Elizabeth Meliodas in the past. Now, obviously, with those 2 characters, in the past, could mean literally 3,000 years ago, or sometime over the Seven Deadly Sins period. We just don't know. So ultimately, I'm intrigued. Though I'm leaning towards 3,000, because Elizabeth is the one who mentioned that Worldane was brought up by Merlin. So I'm assuming Worldane is one of Merlin's old apprentices, who possibly also figured out a time stop spell? If I hesitate, because she's like the creator of an entire, like, living species. So, like, she has to be old. But at the same time, I'm not sure how old. Like, she can't be, like, could she just be 32? Or, like, however old you think she would be while if she was part of Camelot while Arthur was reigning? I don't know. She's not in any of the flashback panels. So, Worldane does not exist. At least from what I remember of my reread, Worldane doesn't exist in any of the flashback panels that we've seen of, like, Arthur pre the Chaos stuff. We see Varghese, we see Ironside, we see Pelgard. I think we even see Mortlock, but we don't see Worldane. So I have no idea what this character is, and notably she's the only one so far of the 4 evils to not have like a human base to actually be connected to, like at all. Notably, every other character does. We obviously have Beltreep with Izzy, we have Pelgard with Percy, and we have Ironside with Theodora, but ultimately nothing, absolutely nothing when it comes to Worldane and like whatever her human basis is. It would have made her hesitate to take Chaos in the first place. And we know Chaos has to be a recent addition because Arthur only got Chaos 32 years ago. Is that math right? Am I struggling with that? Is that math right? No. 18 years ago. I doubled it. It's only been a 2-year time skip, so it would have to be 18 years past, I think, because the demon did the whole Demon Lord stuff. But let's see. See, yo, shoutouts to Snark and Sia, dog. They're like, I have no idea what we're doing here. I don't know why we're here. We're gonna stand on business. Let's see. Oh my, Pelgard looking mighty what? Why is he that? Why is he in segments? Ew, they turn Pelgard into a centipede. Let's see. Theodora. Like, oh no, the camera's struggling to focus. I'm trying to let me see if I can stay in relatively the same spot, because I messed with the camera a little bit. So hopefully improve the quality, and I turned it up to 60 FPS, because apparently it was recording at 60 FPS, so I was recording at 30. So like I want to see if it could record at 60. Who knows? What power? What struggle is my CPU at? It's finally consistently sitting at 1.1%. Where usually it sits at like 0.7, I guess doubling the frame rate. Oh, well, it dropped down to 0.8. But with that being the case, what do they like? It goes back to the question I asked in that My Thoughts video all that time ago. Do they have are they, like, legally human, like, at all at this point? So essentially, would they feel hatred towards Diodora? Would his magic activate, or would he be cooked if he gets hit right now? I don't know. Let's see. We got Diodora, we got Izzy, and we got Isolde. It is still insane. And no, but the thing is, Isolde's like 6'7". She's not like a Titan. How small is Izzy? Like, she's the outlier here. I mean, obviously, I know Nakaba's not always consistent with heights, but like, she's like up to Isolde's waist. And as a person whose waist is, I think, even. Actually, no, my legs are really long. So, like, at the half point, like, that's 3 feet tall. Like babies or, like, toddlers are stuck around 3 feet near my waist. But then again, I am shorter than Isolde, I think. Because I'm only, like, 6'1", 6'2". I think she grew taller over the time skip, I believe. I think she was 6 foot at the start of the time skip. But then again, she's always just been drawn really, really tall. So maybe this is a continuous fault of main Isolde rather than Izzy. Let's see. Oh? What is this? What is this? Shatter? His tears are shattering? Get away from there! Oh, wait, here? Get away from here! No, believe them be, Percival. Gawain, they may die. You are not the cast ice, Gawain. They may die. So I get why Percy's going in for it. Interesting. What does he sense? Oh, Tristan, turn Demon Mark back on. Get back into Demon Mark. Let's see. Percival? Hurry, do it now! Do what now? Est Rose, Rosamond, Cel, Seta, Cel. And if you're wondering why I'm reading the spells this time, because actually I'm kind of interested, because it looks like we are truly getting into spellcaster lore. In this version of the series specifically, I got this off my reread, where I was like, huh. Unlike the previous series, where spells were, like, they were at most, like, 3-word chants. Like, Merlin being our main spellcaster wasn't really a person to do extensive chants. Like, it honestly made me believe Nakaba didn't even have, like, a little lexicon where he was like, okay, this spell means this spell means that. But notably, almost every single spell we've seen in Fortnite, since none of them are from Merlin, even though we know Merlin is here, apparently. None of them are from Merlin. We actually are seeing the full chants. Even Merlin's, like, longer chants for, like, for Chrono Coffin, when she was faking, dragging that out, they were not, like, detailed. They were not in, like, any sort of decipherable language from what I could tell. But every other spell, like all of Gawain spells, Worldane spells, they all have their, like, full listed chants out. So I actually am interested if Nakaba, like, has, like, a little written system that's like, okay, so this spell will be for spatial manipulation, because this is like a teleport spell she's using here. This spell will be for spatial manipulation, this spell will be for temperature manipulation, this spell will be for just random basic attacks, this spell will be for, like, energy attacks, like Exterminate Ray. I do wonder if Nakaba has that. Considering how much Nakaba goes into his world building, I wouldn't be shocked. But at the same time, I would have to, like, literally transcribe every single spell we've seen so far and see if they're, like, consistencies. Because I can't tell that off the top of my dome. Let's see. Then again, Percy, if they were going to teleport away, why'd you go down there? Okay, what is this? Ultimate High Priestess. Percy? Percy, are you cooked? Percy, are you cooked? Wait, can you absorb it? What? You have the Force Circular, man. Absorb it. Let's see. Oh, this ain't gonna work. But wait, why'd you go down there? Am I missing? Why did? See, admittedly, this is why for 4 nights I don't honestly, one of the main reasons I love doing it for patrons first and then reviewing is because on a first read, I'd be confused on some of the characters' actions. I'll typically figure it out on a second read. But once again, due to timing and circumstance, I do want to do a dual live reaction review for this one. But why did he dive down here if they were going to be teleported out anyway? Did he have to be like a beacon? I don't know. This seems really weird. And I wonder why he's not. I mean, it looks like a large-scale ice attack. But then again, the fireballs that he absorbed were also pretty large too. So why does he not try to, like, slurp this up with the Force Circular and then build it into his own attacks? I was like, oh, this ain't going to work. Oh, okay, so that's why he didn't do it. It just, despite how it's drawn here, it looked like Worldane was, like, blasting something at him. I'm guessing it's a wave of cold, considering Diodora's tears froze here. It looks like, yeah, maybe his tears, maybe his sweat. It froze here, then shattered. So I'm guessing Ultimate High Priestess is like an ice spell, but based on what's happening here, it looks like it's an AoE ice spell. So they're like, I'm not sure what the upper limits of the Force Circular are, but I doubt Percy could absorb, like, an AoE attack. Like, that's a good example. So, if you'll remember early 4 nights, when Gawain first, like, just flexed her Sunshine Aura, right, or her Dawn Aura, and it just burst out everywhere, I'm not sure if Percy could absorb all of that. He may be able to absorb in a section of it that would interact with him with the Force Circular, but considering it's a wide-spanning AoE attack, it wouldn't do anything. But looking at how everything suddenly froze up, or at least seemed to get cold, I'm assuming this was an AoE attack that he couldn't directly absorb. Let's see. Huh? Well, why is it so cold? I'm not sure. Oh yeah, I was about to say, should Nazians be immune to cold? That's the demon clan. That's the demon clan. And theoretically the goddess clan. Do we actually see goddesses get, like, afflicted by natural occurring, like, weather things? Because notably the goddesses are in control of a lot of those weather things, right? Like, we see even, like, basic low-level goddesses, like, I forget the names, the ones who run the druids that possess 2 humans. Like, they have lightning and I forget the other's magic, but essentially they have, like, control over the elements. So I do wonder if the goddess clans have, like, the same immunity that the demon clan do. The demon clan just have the immunity because the demon world sucks. Like, that's the main reason they're immune to most things, because they literally have to be in order to survive there. Let's see. But in contrast, the fairies are actually usually susceptible to, like, environmental debuffs and stuff like that. And Nazian's giant physiology just seems to be, like, the massively weaker part of him. We have yet to see Nazians do really... I feel like I made this comment before, but then someone corrected me. Have we seen Nazians do anything with their giant biology? We know, like, ultimately, King and Diane, their blood was not, like, distributed evenly. Like, obviously, they're both the parents, but, like, the mix isn't always the same. I don't think we've seen Nazians do anything with specifically their earth abilities. But even then, you know, going by Pokemon logic, ice is super effective against ground. So freezing Nazians actually probably would be, like, doubly effective. Essentially, if we're talking in Pokemon terms, Nazians is kind of a grass ground type with levitate. Is that a thing? I don't think so. But, like, essentially, Nazians is a grass ground type with levitate. So an ice beam would do numbers to him. Would do numbers to her regardless. Let's see. It just went below freezing. All of Onflin? See, ultimately, because I'm not sure... Who says this, even? Is that Hauser? I can't tell if that's Hauser who says it. But it just went below freezing across all of Onflin. What's going on atop that tower? I wish I could trust Hauser's range. Because, like, with someone like Gother, when he mentioned... And this is something I call on the reread again. When Gother mentioned, oh yeah, I'm broadcasting the solution all over Onflin. Remember, Onflin isn't just... And I know I'm saying it wrong. It's Ano... It's like Ano Voon. But I just hate calling it that. Sorry. I read that as Onfwin, even though I know it's Anovun or something like that. But my point here, Gother admitted with Twin Bow Herod, they cast the Capricorn illusion over all of Onfwin. And with someone like Gother who has, like, the sheer processing power, Onfwin isn't just, you know, this little area where the spire is. It's like the entire pocket dimension that they're in with all the stars and all that, which gives Gother some pretty stupid range. Obviously, I don't think it's meant to be applied that large, and most it's like the planet that Onofin is on, but still very, very good. But could you imagine if World actually, like, froze the entire solar system? Yeah, like, more than so, like, notably just based on the numerous starry night skies we've seen in Onofin. And I see it, I'm mixing the names. But based on the multiple panels you had of starry night skies, it's not just one solar system. It's like a galaxy. At a minimum. Because solar systems aren't that close. Let's see. This forbidden magic. It frees... I gotta stay posted up. Because I can't leave the desktop any forward. So I have the webcam position right here. Let's see. This forbidden magic, it freezes, it's the English, pencil, slow down. This forbidden magic, it freezes the target's flesh and blood, fully stuffing out their life. It normally takes 7 minutes to cast, but she did it in an instant. Okay, interesting. So she got a buff that allowed her to completely cut down on casting time. Several minutes to, what was that? Like, it was a couple syllables, right? Like, O, lo, ro, so... 5, 6, 7. So, like, oh lord. But essentially 7 syllables for what a cast time that typically takes multiple minutes. Very impressive. Very impressive. And I get why it takes so much, because apparently it's supposed to insta-kill, and even Percy doesn't think it's going to work. But, interesting. I'm assuming Gawain's immune because of Dawn, and I'm assuming Tristan's immune because, you know, half demon biology. He's probably his genetic memory is like, oh, it's really cold right now? That seems legit. It is perfectly fine. But Percy, I mean, like, he should be able to absorb at least some of it. Let's see. Or not. Everything. It's all freezing up. My body and me myself. So he can't even use the 4 circular tubes. I guess because it's I guess it goes back to what I said earlier. It's an AoE attack, so he doesn't have the free range of motion he needs to absorb that. That's actually rough. Darn. So So that's a good counter. Obviously, Percy's still a really powerful character. Like, just based on his scaling so far, he has to be pretty beastly. But that's a good way to counter Percy. If you have, like, massive AoE scale stuff, it seems, at least for right now, maybe he'll get stronger, be able to do something like this with AoE, but at least current Percy cannot deal with massive, like, environment-shifting AoE stuff. At least not in a way that doesn't jeopardize his life here. Like, is he implying that he, as a life spirit, would die here, or is it just his vessel? I'm not sure. Let's see. Wait! What? Huh? It's alright. I'm not gonna let you die. I can only protect you this once, son. Grandpa? Wait, don't go. Wait! What? Well, I guess... Did he just get wiped from existence? Is that how that works? Wait. Okay, let me just keep reading. Percival! See, look at Tristan. In fact, he's even sweating. So, like, Tristan is perfectly fine, presumably because of his biology. It doesn't matter at all to him. And Gawain's likely fine because of Dawn. Let's see. Whoa! Oh, but now he's sweating too. Okay, I'm a little confused. Was the cloak? Wait, what? So is that how Varghese was able to manifest? Because of the cloak? Huh. So does that mean that Anne and Donnie are carrying around? Okay, so let me take a stab at what happened here. Varghese sees that Percy's about to perish to this ice spell, I guess. She's Percy's about to get boomed. And immediately decides to sack himself. But I'm assuming the only way he can sack himself is either by possessing or already having possessed something on Percy, which in this case is his cloak. Notably, we don't know what's up with the helmet. Well, we know it was made as a memorial for Percy, but he never retrieved it. So we don't know where that is. The other remaining piece of Varghese. But since that occurred, everything goes snap, crackle, and pop, and this either like existence erasures Varghese, because we know typically when your soul is destroyed, that's like you're cooked. At the same time, the whole idea of certain souls lingering around, like, but not, it's weird, right? Because I'm trying to think, because Zhivago, Bond's father, was also lingering around. But was that because of Melascula? Like, ultimately, we get in volume extras that Donnie's mom and who we don't see the face of. I still think it's very weird that Nakaba is going out of his way to not show us Hauser's sister and Donnie's mom. Like, they are two important characters, but, like, we do get Anne's mom. Then again, we had a face reveal for her forever ago. But still, very interesting that we are yet to be privy to what Donnie's mom looked like. Really considering she's a character that exclusively exists in Four Knights. I went through all of Seven Deadly Sins again recently. Not recently, like a year ago. But still, I don't remember any mention of Hauser having any siblings. But, all that being the case, I'm trying to think of, like, scenarios where, or what on Donnie and Anne. Because what my guess here is that Varghese was actually secretly possessing the cloak all this time. He just couldn't speak to Percy or manifest because he was a cloak. And it was Gareth who used his spirit calling abilities to allow Varghese to actually physically manifest his soul, likely detaching from the cloak. It'll explain why Varghese reappeared, not just as, like, a soul body, but with, like, the cloak around him. But he did still have the helmet, though, so I'm not sure. But then he sacks himself here, the cloak gets destroyed and shatters. So essentially, it took the blow for Percy. But then again, if this is an AoE attack, shouldn't Percy still be cold? I don't know. This is a very, very strange interaction, but I guess Varghese is dead. But this makes me wonder, what on Anne and Donnie's person could their mothers be possessing? Is that a hazard, I guess? Where's Donnie's dad? Is he dead? Where is Donnie's dad? I don't think about it. We know where Anne's dad is. He's still back in the village. But I actually don't know where Donnie's dad is. Because he never gets mentioned. But this is a strange, admittedly. I don't know. If this truly is an AoE ice attack, I feel like Varghese sacking himself here shouldn't work. But maybe it's just like one wave of cold, and then after it freezes everything around him, then it just stops acting upon him? I don't know. We'll see. Whoa. Yep, the cloak shatters. You okay? Yeah, look at both Tristan and Gawain. Perfectly fine. Demon biology cheater. Dawn biology cheater. Let's see. I can't believe it. Your cloak took the spell for you? Yeah, this is, I think I'm right. I think ultimately Varghese was possessing the cloak the entire time. He was able to, I guess, absorb the cold magic? And then shatter his vessel, quote unquote, which was the cloak. But I wonder, does that mean he now ends up in the capital of the dead? Or is he gone? Because, like, Zhivago was erased from existence. Bon's father, when he took the place of Bon, and I believe he was coming back because of, like, the lingering regrets. But when he took the place of Bon, when Galen went to eat the soul of Bon, he's gone. When a demon eats your soul, you get erased from existence. You aren't going to the capital of the dead. You aren't going to the afterlife. You're cooked. But for something like this, I think this is the first time this happened, where, like, a being possessing an object, while they were still inside of it, got destroyed. Because obviously we know the goddesses, they turn themselves into instruments or possess certain things, but then they took over the bodies that they were working with. Like Tarmiel and Sariel, they did that, but then they got bodies. But in terms of, like, a vessel being destroyed that holds a soul, I'm not sure what that actually does to the soul. Maybe for he's in the capital of the dead, maybe he's just gone, though. That's tragic. Let's see. Grandpa. Aw, Percy, now is not the time, though. Unfortunately, you can mourn that man later, because you still got ops. And that was only one of their attacks. It was just Worldane. And you aren't dead, so they're probably pretty nailed about that. What? Thou to okay, so the first, it's weird, some of the first letters are reversed, the D's are reversed, and the R, interesting. I wonder what is this typeface like? Let me see. Thou darest to destroy Camelot, thus we must destroy thee first. Interesting. So some of the first letters are reversed, but it's not consistent. Like the D isn't reversed here, but it is reversed here. Oh wait, I need to click on this so you can actually see where my cursor is going. So what I'm talking about here, thou darest, this D is backwards, and so is this R and this E and this S. So maybe is the whole word just reversed? Okay, so yeah, it's an entire word at the time that gets reversed. How does that sound? I don't know how that, like, can they understand them? Is that just for us to show, like, how chaotically they're speaking? Or is, like, that an in-universe thing? When they hear thou, do they hear, like, I'm not sure how that would even read, because it's just the letters themselves are backwards. The word itself isn't backwards, but very interesting. Oh, and I'm leaning around with these designs a little bit more. Though Pelgard, man, what did they do to you, my boy? Let's see. I love how Percy is like, he's clearly distraught, but he's like, man, I gotta lock in. I gotta lock in, or his sacrifice will be for nothing. Or maybe he's not locking in. What happened, dude? Did you take damage? That hit home, didn't it? What hit home? What was it? The loss of our? That's why did he glass? Or not? Why is he long? Okay, so I wasn't tweaking here. Why is he long? I know Pelgard was not, he wasn't even short though. That man was probably like 6 foot. I was so confused. He looks so long here. It actually looks a lot more spiky here. It actually looks like Nakaba simplified his design from this back shot here. But why on earth is my favorite man so long? 1, 2, 3. Like, they added extra. Why? Huh. And both, okay, so I thought only one of his arms was infused with the ball last chapter. But no, both of his, oh no, I think actually no. Both are infused with the ends of his staff. Alright. Yeah, there's no way there's a human body under there, right? Like, even the armor itself. Did he get done the dirtiest? Why does it seem like at least I could believe there are human beings beneath all the other masks? It looks like Pelgard himself, like his armor itself came to life. Is it because he was the most rebellious, I guess? And like, why did he get most monsterified, seemingly? Let's see. He's not even speaking. Let's see. Ladies and gentlemen, we're in for cinema. We have Demon Mark Tristan. Let's see. Okay, Tristan, cook. Darn. Not only is he long, but he's huge! Look at this! Tristan's barely the size of... How can I say this without sounding sus? I'm gonna say it. Tristan is barely the size of one of Pelgar's balls. Like, what on earth? Oh, he does block though. He does react in time. Interestingly, he goes immediately for the clash. Like, Tristan would have been better to try and... Now, I like Pelgard, but I don't think Tristan cares for Pelgard. Shouldn't you have just tried to slice him in half? I don't know why you tried to go band for band here. He's so long. You could have, like, gone for, like, his torso. I think maybe he just want to go even. Let's see. Thud. Ugh, this shockwave. It's pulverizing my bones and ripping... What? Just the shot? What? Not even the impact? The shockwave. It's pulverizing my bones and ripping my flesh apart. Huh? Awfully graphic, but I guess if it's pulverizing your bones and ripping your flesh apart, it would be great. Darn! Oh, shoot. So literally, yeah, his fingers are breaking. Oh, wait, did he just... This is Mael, isn't it? This is one of his swords. In fact, whatever happened to Estarossa? I actually don't know. But, because he started wielding Dragon Handle instead. But, yeah. Oh, man, so his fingers are broken. Even, oh, wow. Even, what's his name's? Beltreep's or Damon's armor shatters on him, too. And he's leaking blood. Tristan, man. How you always get that? I guess, but then again, Percy can regenerate too, and I swear Percy never gets done this dirty. But Nakaba always does Tristan the worst, dog. Why? And this is, like, unfortunately, unless it does get retroactively confirmed. I think it's debatable, but unless it's retroactively confirmed that the true Nephilim state where he has the demon mark active and the dark eye active and then the goddess eye active, unless it's confirmed to be stronger, man, this is Tristan's strongest state and he's getting one-tapped. Okay, and not just one, jeez! Collapse through the entire pillar? Why? Tristan, are you good? Tristan, are you still in one piece, dog? What? I don't think he can get much higher. Can he get much lower? Collapse chariot. Oh, but Percy and Gawain, or at least Percy looks like he dodged, unless he just went straight down. Darn. Like, look at him. Look at his legs sprawled out. Boom. Crack. Thud. Thud. Crack. Crack. All the way down. Yep, and the whole thing collapses. Whoa, first a freeze, and now tremors? Hey, look out above! Yo, I feel so bad for Donnie, man. He like, because of power limit break, he can't do anything. He's drained. He is able to point, which is more than, well, then again, I'll be honest, my one issue with power limit break was, one, it felt like it was kind of overkill. I feel like the Sevendeadlysins did not need power limit break when it was first used at the end of the manga against the Demon King. Like, Mel alone would have been more than enough. But, not just that, I feel like power limit break never really, it never felt like it had the consequences that it should have because of the unclear time skip, like pseudo time skip before the end of Sevendeadlysins. Like, how long was it between the death of the Demon King and the Catholic stuff? Was it a week? Because the characters claim like they can barely move. Even Gother's like, I will literally fall apart if I get hit right now. But then they go on a box of cat for a little bit. So like, were they actually nerfed? Did a week? I don't know. It feels like no, it wasn't clearly conveyed enough. I'm assuming a week had to pass because the way it's described, you think they wouldn't be able to move a muscle, but here's Donnie moving a muscle, and he's way weaker than any of the Sins were. I was like, oh, poor Gareth, man. Gareth was like, I did not sign up for this. I just wanted to leave. Oh, but Goliath is going down too. Okay. Will it be able to recover from this? Because I know it has La Droga de Oro. I was like, the tower's going down. Oh, yo, now seems with the hard carry, dog. I do genuinely hope once they get their wings and stuff like that, the Sacred Spear of Percival does change a bit, but still, good on him for using, good on her for using Sponge Percival as a carry to save as many people as possible. Let's see. Trash. Oh, okay, but look at Gawain going band for band with World Aid. Let's see. Kill Falca Alti Bra. Kiloka. What? Oh, was this meant to be? I feel like, was this meant to be Exterminate Ray? But it looks like World Aid got on a quicker, so even, okay, she even says it herself. She can sword in the cast time for any spell? But you know what? Crazy thing is, and you know what, it's wild to say, but then again, I think the common consensus is, I've seen some extreme Gother glaze, don't get me wrong, I've seen some extreme Gother glaze. But I think the common consensus is that stat-wise, in order to balance Gother isn't actually, like, anywhere near the upper echelon of the Sins. Like, you can make arguments, I've seen arguments to, like, put him above Escanor because of the calf stuff and stuff like that. But, like, I've always been iffy on, like, giving Gother too many crazy stats. And the reason I say that is because we recently saw him get, like, blitzed viciously by Beltreep. Obviously, that was like a matchup thing, and Gother wasn't ready because everything got absolutely canceled. And presumably, we don't know if he actually had the Twin Bow Herald on him. On my reread, I reread the interaction he had with Dubs, and he literally mentions it's because of the Twin Bow Herald that I'm able to maintain this illusion. So when Worlding casted the Universal Absolute Cancel, and Beltreep turned and noticed that Cabernet was Gother, it's likely the main reason Gother went to pull back and then launch out a light arrow is because they couldn't actually spawn a Herod in time because Herod was also dispelled. Because you know Herod is mostly an energy thing. It's like the least solid of all the sacred treasures. So that may be the case here, so you could argue maybe Gowther as that. But essentially, if a non-buff Beltreep was able to pretty much absolutely annihilate Gowther in a way that I don't think Beltreep would annihilate like Mel or King or especially Bond, I'm gonna lean to the idea that the sins, at least the strongest sins with crazy stats and crazy statements, are still above even these amped evils, right? Because Merlin could pop out Exterminate Ray without saying a word. She had gotten so used to and so good at casting that the only times we see her like chant out spells is when they're for like multi-setup things or when she's faking, like Chrono Coffin. Like notably in that alternate timeline with Kath, she didn't really say anything and Chrono Coffin was activated on Kath in like seconds. So even like the high tier time manipulation spells don't actually take much casting time for Merlin. So even the super evolved Chaos buff to the Moon and Back Worldane still needs to chant for a spell. Not as simple, because Exterminate Ray isn't necessarily simple, but still, just to do that, she still needs to hit 3 syllables. Whereas, if I'm remembering properly, against Grey Road, Merlin just popped out Exterminate Ray with no issue. She was just like, boop, and then Exterminate Ray pulled out. Let's see. But obviously this is meant to hype up Gawain, and the fact that despite her getting stronger over the 2-year time skip and getting a better understanding of her magical abilities, she still has a long way to go before she actually compares to her mama. Which does make sense. Let's see. She can shorten the cast time for any spell? Boom! Yeah, all the rebels destroyed. And I guess Goliath was taken care of, because I don't see him rising up. Let's see. Okay, Gawain with the shield. Ooh, and Percy just lands. He's beat up, though. Percy, you gotta heal yourself, bro. Let's see. Oh no! Look at them all! Yeah! Brutalized. And honestly, I don't blame him. They did just have to fight Goliath extensively, and it looks like Ballin could not hard carry. I love Ballin, but it looks like it was a little bit too much for him. Let's see. Up, balloon. Hang on! Alright. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Riding Hierophant. The only reason, what does Hierophant mean? I you know what? I only know Hierophant from Persona, which I haven't even played, but I just know the Hierophant Arcana. Hold on. Am I even pronouncing it right? Hierophant? Let me go to the Googler. I'm here. Hierophant. We'll stick with it. Hierophant. You know what? We're just gonna put in pronunciation. Let's see. Hierophant, not Hierophant. Hierophant. Definition meaning Hierophant is a person who brings religious congregants into the presence of that which is deemed holy as such. Okay. So Percy, being a spirit, being made to riot, right? Because Percy, a person who brings religious congregants into a presence that is deemed holy. We know the spirits are considered like a holier side of the universe because they run everything. They make everything function, right? Whether it be the ground, such as Gog Magog, whether it be the fire, such as Salamander, and Percy and all of his ilk being life. So they are technically bringing people into a certain state of being. And now I guess Ironside, who was a spirit. Oh, wait, does Ironside? Wait! I thought Ironside turned into a Tetraman. That man has 6 arms. Is Ironside a spider? Actually, yeah, why is this like an even more fire? But he has 6 arms. But Ironside was known as a spirit caster. It's very interesting because it's semi-core to Ironside's entire character. Like, camera, please focus. Camera, please. But essentially, it's core to Ironside's entire character in the sense that the whole plot in Percy exists because of his spirit calling abilities. But in terms of combat, he only uses like the one time he used his spirit calling abilities in combat was against Bond, and it did nothing. He summoned the Jinn, and it did literally 0 damage to a 1/10 of his power Bond. But here we go. He's using. But interesting that he's setting them on like wild mode, just rioting. Like why do you want to do that? But is this gonna be our first glimpse? It's been 84 years. Well, not really 84, but it's been like 150. So it must have been like 3 or 4-ish years since we got to actually see the spare Percy. But let's see him cook. I was like, very interesting. So I'm guessing these are his new eyes. I'm guessing because it looks like the sides of the helmet are now sealed. Ooh. Oh, poor Kion. Huh? What's wrong, guys? Oh no! That spell makes the spirits lose their minds! So even Gog Magog, and that's not good, because they're the high-end earth elementals, right? Wait, don't tweak. Let's see. Oh yeah, so this is so interesting. we never actually got to see what Despair Percy looked like, because by the time the veil of darkness that Jade put over Percy's head went away, it was dispelled, right? Because Anne, Nosians, and Dottie got to him. But now it looks like there actually is a physical transformation. Maybe this is just drawn for us, but note how his face loses a lot of its features. He just gets reduced to the blank eyes, and notably, it's not like he's even shaded here. His face is just soaked in black. So I wonder if that's meant to like emphasize like the skin dying, because this is Despair, right? Like ultimately, while Deodora's magic ended up being called Despair, the true Despair was Percy and his magic. So seeing him reflected like this is very interesting. But you can see he's fighting it. He's sweating heavily. Is that you, Percival? Looking jacked and juicy. You're hurting me. What is he doing? Wait. Does he have Wait a minute. So I'm guessing this is because of his 2 years spirit training, but I'm guessing he has a ranged application of this now. Because if I remember properly, he was only able to use the Despair abilities on Kion and anybody because he made physical contact with them. But it looks like he may be is he training Anne's life force from a range now? Interesting. No. Yeah, but interesting. Even though he's rioting, even though he's set to lose his mind, according to Kion, he still doesn't want to do it. I'm assuming the reason Anne doesn't instantly vaporize and perish isn't because Anne has exceptionally strong life force or anything. It's because Percy's at least somewhat holding back. But here's go Wayne with the save. Just whack. Just doming Percy real quick. Okay. Shake it off, Percival. I mean, like, and you know what? I actually really like this. I really like it because I was kind of wondering if Percy's life spiritness would come into play in specific things like this. I didn't think it would actually come into play. Funnily enough, I guess I should have assumed it would come into play like Ironside. But realistically, the main thing where I expected Percy's life spirit nature to come into play in like a negative way, obviously, was against Arthur. I figured since Arthur has chaos and chaos created the world, especially Camelot, I thought Arthur would almost have like a dominion over Percy if he really felt like it. He's like, oh, you're a life spirit. Obey me. And then like Percy, by his nature, because we see it happens to humans. And when I was rereading, I got to that point in part 1 where Arthur showed up in Camelot. And even Percy, of course this is before you knew he was a life spirit, but still, Percy, while being a life spirit, was still subject to Arthur's will in a way that other people weren't. Nosians wasn't at the time, which should have clicked for your boy, because obviously wasn't at the time because they weren't human. And think. Obviously Meliodas and Tristan, and any of the hybrids weren't under Arthur's control, but even Percy was. And obviously, I think, even if you're delusional about being a human, I think the main reason Arthur had jurisdiction is because being the creator, or at least containing the creator, he has jurisdiction over life. It's kind of like how if you were to capture Arceus, or one of its fragments, let's say, because, you know, Pokemon, you would have jurisdiction over, and obviously in canon, right? Very difficult task to do, but in canon, you have Arceus, you essentially gain dominion over all Pokemon. Especially its own kids, such as Dialga, Palkia, and Giratina, because they have to listen. They're offshoots of it. And same thing for Chaos, right? Where in a way it could probably enforce its will over any of its creations. The only reason I doubt that is because it couldn't enforce its will over the supreme deity or the Demon King. At least not seemingly. It got sealed away for a reason. But then again, it could have been wanting to be sealed away until it actually got a proper vessel. I don't know. It's kind of strange. But let's see. Shake it off, Percival. Oh, but interesting. Hitting him did knock the black off him for a little bit, but it immediately came back. Yep, and this is what I'm also interested in. Whenever we get a further evolution of, or if not an evolution of further elaboration on Percy's time in the spirit realm, I want to know more about this language too. Because this, like some of the casting in the original series, has like its own unique like calligraphy. But at the same time, we always do get translations. So essentially what Percy himself is really saying in our letters. So he says, Indua, and that causes Gawain to spit blood. So like once again, this is another range application of the Despair magic. But what did that do? Like, did it cause one of her organs to explode, and that's why she spit blood and fell over? Did it mean to drain her, but Percy's still holding back? Because, should I do it? Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Hold on. What chapter was it? I'm gonna go back to, nope, before this. What chapter was it? The chapter we fought Gareth, because that was the same. Unacquitted feelings. Okay, no. So it'll be before that. It'll be even before that. Chapter maybe 175? Nope, before that too. I'm trying to see what spell Percy used. Because notably, he's able to use the life drain abilities even while still in hope mode. So, I want to see what spell he used on Gareth. Let's see. Yeah, okay, so interesting. So these spells likely do just have different effects, right? This may not even be a case of Percy holding back, but this is a Percy losing his mind not being optimal. Because, come here. Look at this spell here, Nadula Gimala. This just rips it separates the life spirit from the body, which nearly instantaneously slaughtered Gareth. And so, with that being the case, this Indua spell doesn't do anything. And this wordless spell also does very minimal damage. It seems like this chant spell does more because Gawain actively coughs blood and collapses. Meanwhile, it looks like Anne just begins to choke here. So there are levels to it, right? There are spells that are fully capable of immediately tearing apart or severing the connection between a life spirit and its vessel. There are spells that directly implicate, like, presumably choking or like an inability for certain things to function. And then there are spells that possibly blow up organs or whatever this did to make Gawain spontaneously cough blood and fall over. So Percy's kit's gonna be massive. It's gonna be thick. It's gonna be very thick. Let's see. Thud. Percival, stop. Why are you in base though? Buddy, why'd you go back to base? But regardless, Tristan, my man, after having all your bones shattered, immediately healing it off and getting up. I know it's that demon and goddess healing, big bro, but golly, I see you. Percival, stop it. Percy's like, you weirdly thick. Hold on a second. Why do you have so much? Oh, you're a demon goddess. Why does my camera keep failing to focus? Please stay locked in. I know I can stay locked in. I got chubby cheeks, but still, stay locked in. But essentially, stop it! I can keep putting my hand in for it. Let me stop that. But essentially, I'm guessing it would be very difficult for Percy to hit this on Tristan because of Tristan's biology, right? Because I'm assuming his life spirit, just his general, like Tristan's general life force has got to be a lot stronger than the average, right? Just because of how cracked his biology is. Even though he does have a semi-human basis, he does have goddess attributes and demon attributes. And goddesses, as far as we know, are fundamentally immortal. And even demons live for longer than 1,000 years, right? Gawain was 997. And didn't look like he was actually dying anytime soon. That man was still worthy enough as a warrior that he was still part of the Ten Commandments. So, like, if he's at 997 and still able to fight that well, presumably they live even longer than 1,000 years. So, I'm so interested would actually be very difficult for... Wow, now I think about it. Tristan, he is just a bad matchup for both of these two. Tristan is a bad matchup for Gawain because of his innate magic resistance next to the Demon Clan and his amazing healing factor. And Tristan's a bad matchup for Percy because all the life spirit stuff kind of gets hard-negged by Tristan's super high life force and super high biological strength. And also, Percy can clearly still die and be erased from existence, considering his grandpappy had to step in and prevent him just being frozen to death. Because, like, he specifically goes out of his way to say everything's freezing up. My body and me, myself. He goes out of his way to specify that even the life spirit that is Percy was about to get boomed if it wasn't for Verghese' intervention here. So, that's actually pretty crazy that Tristan could probably just... if not use regular, just existence erasure that's built in either by consume. Can he consume life spirits though? I'm not sure if Tristan could consume a life spirit. But remember Annihilation, or just the fact that Arc has existence erasure properties, but Arc specifically interacts with demonic souls, so maybe not. But Annihilation, which just deletes things, which is the combination of the light and darkness, the twilight that Tristan can wield, that could probably actually diff Percy if he needed to. So Tristan, actually a matchup demon now that I think about it. Let's see. Uh-oh, what is this though? Oh, let's spell Treep? Why do I remember his arm looking different? Hold on. We're gonna break the meta. Let's break the meta real quick. There we go. We hang out like in a mug, reading rainbow. Well, then again, it's clear that Nakamura was changing up some of the designs from last chapter. I actually did kind of like the super fat sword. Hold on, let me see. To be back. Take me back. I wanna go back. Take me to my place. Oh, and here's the panel I missed from last chapter. Nobody would fault you for this. You, after all, are still destined to save the world someday. So yeah. But yeah, actually, maybe this sword can shapeshift, but I actually like this super, like, thick, jagged sword. It reminds me of, One of my own swords, actually, that's all the way up there. That I want to go up and grab because I'm worried about the camera defocusing. But let's see. Collapse chariot. Hold on, let me get it back down. Oh, all the way down. Queen? Okay. No. 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 Please don't tell me. Yeah! I mean, he'll be fine. He'll be fine. He'll be fine. Yeah, okay, okay. I was about to have a heart attack. I was like, there's no... but look how it perfectly just barely whiffed the end of Dragon Handle. So I'm assuming Tristan's going to be still wielding Dragon Handle, which will be a nice homage to his daddy. But then again, he's probably going to have to get a Sacred Treasure from Dubs eventually. Like, presumably right now. Or, like, maybe Dubs working on one. I don't know. But execution of justice. So it's like one swing of Beltreep's sword. It was enough to... Interesting angles, though. Did it attack at 2 different angles? Because it sliced... That's weird. It sliced Tristan horizontally, but then it sliced Percy vertically? Is that his butt? Because notably, Beltreep could already slice at space, right? So, I guess now he can swing the sword once and attack at multiple angles? That's kind of crazy. Huh. So maybe each swing of the sword sends out, like, different types of spatial slashes? Huh. Okay, so Beltreep is already probably, like, most cracked of the 4 evils next to Worldane, but now... He may just be up there. But alright, so Tristan gets... That's a spoiler, so I won't say it, but he gets bisected. Alright, he'll be fine, though, because remember, Galen was fine. He literally just popped himself back together, so I'm assuming Tristan will be fine, too. But, once again, Nakaba just does not like this guy. Has all of his bones and his clothes pulverized and broken and annihilated, and then proceeds to get literally bisected while all Percy loses an arm. Oh, and he does drop the 4 circular. Let's see. Huh? Darn! Just fell in half, dog. Help him! Yep. But yeah, look at that. That's so weird. Like, look at where the slash is drawn here. And then look at where Tristan falls here. How did that even work? Like, did the slash come out and then split in 2 directions? Like, how does this... I don't get how that worked. Let's see. Up. Oh, well, at least it knocked some sense back into him and stopped riding Hierophant. At least seemingly. Oh my god. もう死んでいるですか. Well, butter my behind and call me a biscuit. I recognize that hill anywhere. Well, is that who I think it is? Is that who I think it is? Well, I wonder who it could be. Golly dee willikers. Let me take my time. Let me take my time. They lost. The Knights of Prophecy. Darn, everyone's jacked up. How's it jacked up? Well, at least Percival's still standing. But yeah, Gawain and Tristan are both laid out. Gawain is unironically in the best state. At least all her limbs are attached. But yeah, Kyan's crying tears. Pelio's on the ground. And Gnostians are down for the count. Poor Boris. Boris literally has no powers. But you have Evelyn and Donnie here, both laid out. The Knights of Prophecy. Another world, too. Oh, it's been so long. It's been so long. How do I even voice you, my glorious, amazing, legendary, handsome, seemingly suited up? Why is this man dripified? What is this? Let's see. Hold on. Let me. I don't have a. Well, I was gonna sword on the wall. Yeah, but I don't actually have like a waist scabbard. But whoa, guys, you're giving up way too soon, aren't you? Yes. Yes, they are. Is that something I think it is? Even House is like, Aura? But wait, like, what took him so long? Wait, hold on. Let me get through it. Oh, Percival. Oh, he went to fall over. Snag. It's been 84 years. It's been 84 years. It's only been like 80 chapters. But still, it's been 84 years. I missed you. Look at him. And that's the end of the chapter. Oh, thank heavens I have another chapter right after this. Man, see, now I wish I was here to actually read this chapter on time, because that would have been backflipping and tweaking. But let's see. Because this is what I heard. Lance came back. I'll be honest. I heard Lance came back. I was like, really? Because at least the way it was described, I thought like the Knights were just going to have to run, but I guess they couldn't. Sorry, Percy. Guess I made you wait a bit too long. But then, so... Okay, before I get to, I mean, they may explain the next chapter. Do I just go into the next chapter? I mean, this is a dual review. I should probably just go to the next chapter. I've already been here for what? I've been here for 50 minutes? I may need to go into that chapter. Essentially, I do have one question. How did he track Worldane? Right? Because what Worldane told us a few chapters ago is that the main reason she took so long to get here, despite Beltreep, hey, through the chaos line, being like, hey, witch, I need you to come clear my head fog. Something's up magically. She was dealing with the god of war, right? Like that's the whole thing that she was doing. So somehow, base Worldane was somehow contending with Lance. I'm not sure how, probably just through hack abuse and stuff like that and trying to stay away from him. But I'm guessing maybe he just tracked the magic sources through the chaos holes? Or maybe, well, actually, he may have read her mind. Like, oh, I'm being called to... Then again, Gother couldn't tell. So, I don't know. I'm not sure if her heart may have snitched and been like, oh, gotta head to Onfun to help Beltreep out. Well, instead of dealing with this guy. So maybe that was it, and then Lance was just blitzing through the different purgatory holes, right? Or not purgatory holes, the chaos holes. Because they do exist. There are ways. And we even saw at the start of this arc, the ship broke through the cloud barrier that led into Onfun. So it may be the case where Lance was like, wait a second, going to help Beltreep. Why would she be going to help? Why would she? They're there. And he probably just boom, and like just booked. I mean, he pulled up with mad aura, dog. Literally walking up, sword in the hip, hand in the pocket and all to catch Percy. Couldn't catch your own brother from another mother. Let Tristan get bisected, but hey, at least he's here now. But ultimately, I'm literally doing that. Focus. Camera, focus. There we go. But I cannot believe it. My glorious, handsome, legendary Juicy King here. He pulled up Aura Farmer, but I bet he was straight sprinting. Straight booking it through Camelot. Like, she's going to Onfun, something's in Onfun. She's going to Onfun, something's in Onfun. She's going to Onfun, something's in Onfun. And probably, like, brutalized a bunch more knights. So I'm like, how do I get to Onfun? Because unless Lance can teleport, I have no idea how we got here. We'll see. Let's move on to chapter... I'm so excited. Let's move on. Chapter 205. We're out with the color. It's so good. Sorry, I didn't rehydrate. But obviously, I didn't do it before I changed the chapter. But yeah, like it's a W chapter. Admittedly, I am kind of sad that the Knights couldn't put up a better fight. Like, notably, I wouldn't have minded the four evils having an edge, but the Knights still being somewhat comp. Because admittedly, what's kind of been so far, and I'm assuming it's about to flip again with Lance being here, because there's no, oh, he's literally suited up, dog. I have a suit, man, but regardless, if I had one issue, it is kind of going stomp, 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 stomp. I want the four evils to be comp, and that's kind of what I was hoping they'd be, now that they all had chaos amps. But seeing how the Knights, as three of them, were still relatively fine handling the four of them, and by the time Ironside and Telgar show up for an actual 4v3, they kind of went down the whole Gaslight Girl Boss Gatekeep route, and then immediately broke their minds, leading to these new chaos amps. I was actually kind of hoping the Knights would be a bit more comp, because like now I'm presuming Knights is going to blow them all out of the water, right? Like, as I mentioned, I don't think Gother's an accurate summation of how powerful the Sins would really be, even against like the base Chaos and four evils and even these new four evils. I still think Mel, Bon, and probably even King would take these four evils for a walk. Maybe even, probably Merlin too, once again, with what I mentioned about Worldane, still needing to like chant to cast spells at all. She just has a shortened cast time. So ultimately the basis of them is still there. And in fact, there is a decent bit of humanity in there, because they're still talking, even if they sound twisted. But, I don't know, man, like, I do want a bit more competitiveness. And like, now the question is, if Lance really is here, my one issue with reintroducing Lance to the narrative, if he really is here, we have to, unless he's going to leave him again, Arthur needs to show up now, right? Stop it. Focus. Focus. Focus, camera. Gosh darn it. See, I went and edited it. It didn't do this before, but I'm guessing it's still getting used to do. Focus. Focus! But, essentially, I'm guessing with Lance here, Arthur himself needs to show up now. Like, we're just on a constant stage of escalation, right? So, first, it was the four Knights stomping, then it was the four evils stomping. Now it's probably going to be a Lance stomp. So, the only person who now can contest Lance permanently for the narrative, especially if he's sticking with our four Knights, is Arthur himself. So far, the four evils were meant to be the peak, right? We don't have, like, a traditional Knights of the Round, and most of our characters in our four Knights are meant to be the Knights of the Round. Like Lancelot, like Percival, like Gawain, like Tristan. Obviously, they're going to randomly just join Arthur's side and fight each other. So I don't know how I don't know how we're gonna do it. That's the main issue we had before. Like, without there being comp, how are we? But we'll see. We'll see. Let's see how Lance handles it. Maybe it'll be a bit more even. But the way Lance has been handled so far, sometimes he's just gonna start giving out nice shots. Let's see. Hey there, you came for it, Percy. If you don't heal yourself, dog, you're back to normal. Let's see, Percy. Let me handle this. Alright, let's roll. Tristan, you heal yourself too, buddy. It's about darn time. Chad's not going for an attitude, but I'll blame him. It has been a minute. Broski could have showed up a lot sooner. Well, then again, maybe not. He was running around. Oh! He didn't actually change it. You know what though? Interesting. His hair, especially in comparison to the end of the last chapter, his hair actually falls down a lot more. He has more of It looks like and that's funny. That is actually funny. Notably though, I never looked like my dad. I didn't even look like anyone from my dad's side of the family. It's hilarious. But as I aged, just like Lance here, I have just started to look more and more like my mother. It's weird. It's weird. Obviously not hair texture wise, but like facial feature wise, just like my face, my details settled as I grew older to look basically like a male version of my mom, which is hilarious because she's a female version of my grandfather, but I don't look like my grandfather. So it goes to show how like things can look similar but are disconnected. So essentially, Lance, at least hair-wise, his facial structure hasn't changed all too much, admittedly, but at least hair-wise, it has a lot more like a soft fall to it, which resembles Elaine's hair a whole lot more than Fawn's, because Fawn's hair is consistently spiky. But alright, good to see you, Lancelotto. Lancelot! Interesting. He's dripped out in a suit, but no tie. No tie. So he didn't take full notes from Uncle King, but he's looking good. He's looking good. Let's see. Dude, if you got revived, go tell me, why don't you? How is he supposed to do that, though? Lance, no one knew where... Well, did they know? I literally just... I don't think they mentioned it. Yeah, I don't think they mentioned it. Like, King... Now I think about it, Meliodas never even mentioned that they knew where Lance was. It was obviously assumed, and it was always hinted at that Lance was, like, wreaking havoc in Camelot. But he was doing that by himself. So, like, Lance, I guess maybe... He was in contact with that as occasionally. Maybe he'd check in like once a month and be like, slaughtered 100 more men. And he was probably like, where do they keep finding these men for you to slaughter? And I was like, I don't know, but I'm going to keep going. But interesting. Like, Blaze, how did you expect him to tell you anything? Sorry. Percy's like, I got nothing, gang. I did my best, muchacho. I don't know what you want from me. Let's see. Fine. Just sit tight. Alright, yo, white deer. Yo, he actually done a good job of maintaining the blade, though it does seem to still be a little bit dull. Let's see. I'll take care of things from here. Okay. Percy, put that arm back on. Tristan, stop. I know you're fine. Like, the fact that he literally is just chatting here, he's literally laughing. I know it doesn't mean anything to you. Tristan, put yourself back together. This is embarrassing, dog. Stop it. Stop it. Relink yourself. And Percy, reattach that arm and heal everybody. Come on now. Both of you. Get the heal. Use Heal Nova and you use your Light Spirits. Come on now, dog. Let's see. Oh, that's right. Gareth does it now. Oh, Gareth doesn't know. Oh, trust me, about to find out. Huh? Who's that guy? The strongest man. Yo! See, everybody in life needs a homeboy like Donnie. Everybody in life needs a homeboy like Donnie. He didn't say the strongest guy around, he said the strongest man there is. Donnie is laid out and can barely move in through the oral lob of the century. He said, wait, Lance, catch this. And Lance, the strongest man there. Oh no. Here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. If Lance still truly is the strongest, we're gonna enter some tough conversations. And I'm not even talking about like, where Lance scales to the original series, because I want you to realize it looks like Lance has not grown his wings. This is still Lance, not even wielding sacred treasure that's actually accustomed to him. He's wielding an old relic. Like, I'm not sure when Dubs. Sorry, I keep calling him Dabuzu. I'm not sure when Dubs made White Deer, but I'm presuming it was no time recently, if I had to hazard a guess. So, you know what that means, right? We all know what that means, right? Lance still could either get a spirit spear, which would be way better for him, or even a spirit sword, like his cousin, and or he could grow wings and or both. He could grow wings to buff himself some more, and he could get an actual sacred trait that's suited to him and not just a random sword. So if Lance is still this cracked now, I don't know how the narrative's gonna function. I don't know. Because ultimately, even in Seven Deadly Sins where our main cast was overpowered, they were overpowered for the most part against the lower tiers villain threats, but the higher tier threats, they were always relevant. Think of in the Leonis arc, right? The Sins drastically outclassed any of the new generation, but they had Mental Nurse and stuff like that held them back, or Hendrickson was actually pretty decently calm, because once he got the Great Demon Amp, because a lot of the cast was weaker than him. Obviously not all of them, but still, a good chunk were. And Escanor was banned from the narrative. When Escanor got introduced, he was drastically above everybody, but then characters like Zeldris were introduced, and even Estarossa gave Escanor a bit of trouble during the time he was fighting, and obviously Meliodas flipped when he became super crazy stronger than everybody. He became evil and was moved to the antagonist side. And obviously by the end of the series, they were fighting gods, and the gods were always relevant. But with Lance, he's already put the pause on Arthur as of 2 years ago with no sacred treasure. And I'm not sure, once again, unless we go with the common idea that Arthur was weakened in the mortal plane, he needs to be in Camelot to be at full power because reasons, like he needs to maintain Camelot in the mortal realm while not being there, so a lot of his power is being locked there, so he's only at his strongest in Camelot. Unless that ends up being the case and Lance isn't comped specifically to Arthur, he's plot breaking. And then that's the one concern I had with reuniting with him so quickly. He's kind of gonna shatter everything, but let's see. I'll take care of things from here. Who's that guy? The strongest man there is. Oh, they're gonna start glazing. Yo, all four about to start glazing him. Let's see. Lancelot of the Four Knights, the Knight of War, the killer of so many of our fellow holy knights, the God of War. Do you know how awful you have to be that your mutated beyond humanity ops literally lost so deep in the chaos sauce immediately get to Glazy? Like, he was never called the God of War. That was the title they came up with after he slaughtered so many of them. What? Yo, and look at that. He doesn't even care. He's like, dog, you bisected my homie. You bisected my brother from another mother. I'm gonna have to boom you. But let's see. Lance is posted up like, I really do not care. But let's see. Wow, I don't know what was going on. But the chaos took over all you guys, didn't it? So Lance, even with, but yeah, look at this slice pinball trip again. It was a vertical slash. How on earth how did Tristan get bisected? If it was truly a vertical slash, how on earth did Tristan get bisected? And, why is Pelgrim built like this? Oh, he looks so nasty. Oh, he looks so nasty. Why is he built like this? Oh, Pelgrim, why did Nakama do you like this? Yo, Ironside, stop horror farming. Get down from that rock. But regardless, Pelgrim, why did they do you like this? I was like, but interesting, Lance is immediately able to tell. So the question is, because Gother mentioned the idea of ripping the cast out from Baldur. In fact, where is Gother's body? Is it buried in her? Is Gother okay? But would that be the case? Lancelot, can he rip the chaos out with like Hazy Moon? Does Rolly not have legs? But I do wonder. Let's see. Wait, you'll take them on solo? Even one of them's a Now, Percy, gawain. Y'all definitely got y'all gains up. I'm not gonna lie to you. You went the hype about a time chamber for 2 years. You got jacked, you got juicy, but like, are you forgetting who you're talking to? One of them may be a menace to you, but to him, let's see. Ain't you guys giving your own? Yeah. Oh wait, no, never mind. I thought he was gonna say, and you guys giving your own strength a little too much credit, as in comparing to him. But no, he actually says the opposite. Ain't you guys giving your own strength too little credit? In terms of latent potential, I think you're all right up there with these guys. Latent potential though, but not actual potential, like, or not actualization. Like, it's the whole idea of the potential man stuff, which started with Jujutsu Kaisen and like leaked everywhere. But with the whole potential man idea, there are characters with crazy amounts of like potential and lore and history that should get them up super crazy high. Like Tristan should be dumb, stupid, cracked, but he isn't just yet. He isn't yet, but presumably we're going to see that grow. But let's see. In terms of lane potential, I think you're all up there with these guys. But realistically, they should be higher, right? Like, Gawain may be hard to tell, but at least from what we know of Light Spirits, Percy should be insane. Like, realistically, the behemoth was just a big old life spirit. Obviously, it was a creature powered by a bunch of conglomerate life spirits. But that's the thing. The behemoth was a big old life spirit. Percy should likely be able to surpass the behemoth in some way, shape, or form in terms of raw stats. The same behemoth that Zeldris himself, post-Cursed by Light Zeldris, who, depending on how you feel about him, maybe dumb, stupid, cracked, notably, post-few-year time skip, and then another 16-year time skip on top of that, Zeldris is like, I can't beat that thing. Like, Dad could. Not me. He still doesn't think he's on the level of the Demon King, which is actually kind of sad. And it makes sense based on the scaling of Cursed by Light, but, like, it's kind of sad for Zeldris still not being Demon King level, like, at all. It kind of sucks. But that's the thing. Zeldris, an undeniable top tier from the original series, is like, I can't deal with the Behemoth. The Demon King didn't like to deal with the Behemoth, but had to. Which is funny, because, like, he must have made it. Unless Chaos dropped that thing in as a mod alteration, the Behemoth was created by the Demon King, I'm guessing. Considering how big it is, and how big the Demon World is, and the Demon King created the Demon World, like, buddy, you had to make that thing. Why do you not have control over it? But, then again, you didn't have control over Meliodas either. But would it be the case? Percy is that level potential. Behemoth at a low ball. And then Tristan as his daddy. And his mama. And his grandparents. Whether it be indirect grandparents, such as the Supreme Deity, and then direct grandparents, in the case of the Demon King, and then his great-grandparent, which is unironically the same, Chaos. So, like, yeah, their potential is insane. Gawain's potential, shockingly enough, does cap out a lot lower than these two, in my opinion. Merlin was extremely powerful, and so was Escanor, but I feel like they never met, like, those really super top-tier godly echelons, except for, like, Escanor with Final Shine and the one Ultimate. So, like, Gawain may have a lower peak, considering her Dawn works way differently from Sunshine. And even Merlin's potential, while it does seem infinite, that's through, like, years upon years upon years of application. So, she may not be able to reach those levels, at least not quickly. So, in terms of, like, overall latent potential, I'd probably put Tristan at 1, because, direct link, essentially, family tree of the gods. Then Percy, fundamental life universe aspect, and Gawain, relatively lower, but still, they should clear all these chaos amped humans. I don't know, they're guys being dudes. They're now weird chaos centipede things. So, ultimately, I say in terms of latent potential, not just up there, beyond all three of these guys. Let's see. Oh, darn, no cast time or anything. Just immediate ultimate high priestess. And this looks so beautiful, too. I'll admit, worldling spells look fantastic. Let's see. Crackle, crackle, crackle. So this thing was what Boom Varghese. Let's see how Lance deals with it. Huh? He just... Okay. What was that? So he just swung the sword and it was just like, the magic was like, whoa. I want to do that. It's done? Okay. Alright. Huh. Percy's like, wait. My grandfather died to this? I may have banished my grandfather from existence for this? He stopped that wave of cold? Yeah, this is some real crazy magic, yeah. But, Tristan, you've got full counter, right? Just like your dad saw you. Between that and your royal demon clan blood, don't tell me you can't take this. Oh, I guess, yeah. But then again, I don't know, it's weird. At least... No, wrong chapter. At least in this chapter, it definitely looked like Ultimate High Priestess was more of an AoE thing. And that's why I thought Percy couldn't have absorbed it with the Force Circular. Actually, with everything freezing over on Flynn. But maybe it was directional. Maybe Tristan could, like, vanish counter or full counter this. Didn't think about it that way. Let's see. And obviously, yeah, like I mentioned last chapter, the reason Tristan likely wasn't effective is because of his demonic biology. He was probably fine. Tristan, put yourself back together, dog. And heal yourself up. Come on now. Let's see. Oh. Super long Dino Daddy Pelguard. Let's see. Collapse Chariot. Boom. No! Everyone get back, everyone! Onfit's gonna be wiped off the map! Did I mention? I'm so sorry. I burped like that. But, I mean, it's something my boy Pelguard is multi-solar system level? Maybe galactic? I'm kidding, I know. They're just talking about, like, Onfwin, the area they're in. Let's see. No! Get back, everyone! Onfit's gonna be wiped off the map! But see, that's the thing. Are they forgetting who Lance is? Are they like, Lance says you're underestimating your own strength. You're devaluing yourselves. But, dude, like, Donnie knew. Donnie knew and threw the Aura Lob immediately. Did they forget who Mr. Aura is? Mr. Aura Overflow? Mr. Eye of Aura, by Aura, of Aura, around Aura? Like, this man ain't nothing to go for sneeze at. He's the strongest for a reason. Like, what? Y'all actually think, but you know what? He literally swung his sword here. It doesn't look like he uses magic. He didn't use Hazy Moon here, seemingly. Just raw strength. But you know what this is? It's leading to it. Yeah. I'm gonna feel two types of way about this, depending on how this goes. Let's keep going. Let's see. Yeah, he just raises the sword. Boop, tink, and just completely kills all the momentum. Wow. Tink. Poor Gawain is like, okay. The reactions are killing. I do love their reactions. Like, we forgot he's him. Though, Billy, why are the four evils not attacking all at once? I think they could get in the way of each other, Bell Troop especially. But like, y'all should be ganking this man. Y'all should not be running ones. Let's see. I know force to level this place if it hits you. But Percy, with your insane life spirit regeneration, I think you could withstand this. Withstand it? But could he stop it? Like, obviously, Tristan also has crazy dumpster regeneration. He has goddess and demon healing, which is two of the best healings in the verse. Literally only surpassed individually by the Fountain of Youth. But outside of that, like, I don't know. I feel like Tristan should be able to take that too if it's all just around the regeneration. If Percy still doesn't have the stats to deal with this, I don't think he could have dealt with it. He would have been forced to, and then, I mean, like, unless Lance literally means Percy just goes full body, catches one of the balls, holds on, and just heals as he tries to fly up. Maybe that's what Lance means here, but even then, they just, like, neutralize the impact and still pulverize Percy. But let's see. I think you could withstand this. What is that meant to do, though? He's trying to take over Percy to have Percy attack Lance. Okay. Interesting. But, like, what I was actually interested to see Ironside use, like, a more complicated, like, maybe, if you remember, Belfast Margot and a lot of Ironside's, like, the light cross spells, they're typically crosses, right? But I was hoping when he got the extra arms, I thought he was, like, a Tetraman, but he clearly has 6 arms here. I thought he was gonna, like, start hitting, like, not just a cross, but, like, a star at the same time, and, like, maybe do that with multiple arms all at once. But he's specifically relying on his spear manipulation still. Riding Hierophant, whatever it was. I'm not gonna look it up again. Let's see. Oh, yeah, and he just knocks Pelgard away, but yet they're still attacking 1v1. Oh, look at his feet, though. The feet look kind of nasty, but let's see. Spell's coming out. No! I'll lose it again! Or not. He's literally Start digging in your ear, twin! Like, dog, really? Really? He's scratching his ear? What's this stuff? Pretty kooky magic trick here. The last hope is Beltreat. Who was kind of established to be the strongest. The last hope is Beltreat. Lance. Arthur's to show up. Arthur's to show up, or there has to be another level above the 4 evils. Because Lance has broken the plot. I'm like. I'll give Beltreat the shot. Because we know all the other knights are weaker than Beltreat. Let's see what he does with spatial manipulation stuff. But it does look like Lance is using Hazy Moon here. Notably, I always thought Hazy Moon was just the ability to absorb and then reflect any magic that's used against Lance, right? Like a Hazy Moon, a reflection of the moon off the water. Essentially, and especially, I thought it would be a combination fusion, but it's called Hazy Moon, though, which doesn't sound like Snatch or Tempest, I believe, Elaine and Bond's abilities. But, if they have more focus. Camera, please. Camera, please! I feel like you can focus more than that. Focus. Focus, camera. Before I had to worry about my other camera lagging. Now I just need you to focus. There we go. But, what was I saying? But I thought it was going to be like a fusion of Snatch and Tempest. And it does somewhat work like that. Note how the spell was going out and around towards Percy. In fact, it was going past Lance. But, like with Snatch and like with Tempest, he like drew the spell to him and now circling around his blade as if it were like a swirling wind. And taking the magic is specifically something that Bond could do with taking stats and stuff like that. So Hazy Moon being the ability to reflect and control other external magics does make sense and makes Lance extra broken. Because like a majority of the verse operates magically. There are some just pure physical powerhouses that could probably give Lance some work if they had the stats to. But clearly, look at Pelgard. And presumably everyone else. They don't have the stats to. Let's go. Pretty kooky magic trick here. You're kidding me! Wrangling a forbidden spell like that? I'm too short. I need to get a taller chair. Or I need to, like, lower the camera down more. Well, I just need a new chair in general. This chair is very old. But let's see. Come on, Gawain. You could have at least held Ironside down if you focused on him. By brute force, even if you need. Okay. So I'm getting two messages. There's something tells me Beltreep's about to get diff too. So let me read. Let me see what happens with Beltreep, and then I'll lock it and then think what I think this chapter's purpose is, and whether or not I'm cool and down with it, or we'll see. We'll see. By brute force, even if you needed to. So yeah. Boom. The eternal kingdom shall never fall. Yep. So yeah, they're all literally just running ones. They should be jumping, but they're all just running ones. This is the Lance Showcase chapter. Let's see. Lance is like, Huh. So this is Beltreep, right? Yeah, he'd be tough for you guys. For you guys. Maybe. Lance is like, yeah, y'all are still pretty buns. Admittedly. Kind of booty cheeks. Kind of booty meat. Not as a kind of wackadoodle-doo. But he'd probably be a little tough for y'all. But me? So let's see. Yeah, it'd be tough for you guys, maybe. His thing was division, right? The power to rip through any matter, even empty. Do not be surprised if you see Beltreep versus the JJK verse and him stomping it, because the scaling is that good. If he has division, he can cut through even empty space. He's cutting through infinity. More space manipulation. We have another. We have a hard confirmed another, folks. He can cut through space. Gojo gets diffed. Let's see. Power to rip through any matter, even space itself. All right, let's see. Oh, interesting. This is a much more chaotic execution of justice. So I'm assuming all these spaces are getting slashed. Let's see. The Lance is walking up. All right. Let's see. Hold on, let me take a sip. I'll mute the mic this time. I'm sorry. Yeah, we're back. Okay. You defile our eternal sanctuary, one free of all pain and sadness. It must never be allowed to stand. Oh, Lance actually getting pressed a little bit. Okay, Lance. Let's see. He actually looks a little locked in here. Lancelot! But I love it. Look at everyone, right? Gawain, shocked, and a wholly other person. I love their dynamic. Percy, shocked and worried. Edlin, I can barely tell what his facial expression meant to be, but Donnie, shocked and worried. Anne, shocked and worried. Nasi doesn't even want to look. But Tristan is like, he's got it. There's not a Tristan's looking like, worried? What y'all worried for? It's Lance. I bet literally in Tristan's head, he's like, right now, he's like, it's Lance. He'll be fine. It's going to work out. Lance is here. So, even Tristan's like, the plot's over. Lance is here. We're good. Let's see. Lancelot! Oh, what is this? Pain exists, and so people can grit their teeth and stand up to it. Sadness exists, and so we hold hands and keep moving forward. That's how it works, right? Yeah, And that's why, ultimately, I've always been, like, and I remember, I have a few friends who read Four Knights, and they asked me a question. A fundamental question. Hey, Pencilman, would you ever want to live in Camelot? And I was like, Camelot as it is now, or like everything's fake and stuff like that. And like no, like in a truly proper idealized version of Camelot, where if you did lose anybody, they would come back and they would actually like age with you. Like you would live a genuine, true, eternal life of happiness and joy and all that. And like I sit back, and maybe if that was my initial base reality, I wouldn't care, right? I'd be like, yeah, of course I'd live there. But I don't know. I feel like I am who I am because of the mistakes I've made. I am who I am because of the people I've lost. For the things I've lost. I am who I am today because of the pain that I've gone through and the sadness I've experienced, right? And some of the connections I've made or maintained are because of those same things. So like ultimately, I couldn't find myself. I couldn't really find myself wanting to live in a world that, especially one that's fake, right? And funnily enough, there's a story that I'm writing. And then there'll be light spoilers for the story. But there's a group in it that their whole goal is to do something very similar to what Arthur does. As you're going to tell, I was definitely inspired. But it's a lot deeper. It's a lot more elaborative just because the power level of my universe, because, you know, I'm a filthy power scaler, is actually, it's pretty relative to telling this I think about it. But essentially, the antagonists of the first set of series, their whole goal is to create not just a world where everyone can be happy, but a new world upon worlds, upon worlds, upon worlds. So not just everybody, but everything could be happy. Every individual atom and molecule, every individual living creature, everything would have its own universe, its own creation, and that would branch out into its own creation, into its own creation, to its own creation. And infinite timelines, everyone would get what they want in those respective worlds, whether it be endless battles, whether it be endless peace. Ultimately, a world beyond Camelot, because Camelot people still need to live together. In that world, you wouldn't have to live with the people you don't want to live with. The only things that would be there are the things you want, and anything else would not exist in your version of creation. And my main characters don't like it because they're like, that's not even real. I don't like it, it's whack. But of course, the level of the deity that they're fighting in that universe is capable of making it real, making it a reality with a certain cost. And my main characters don't want to pay that cost. And it's the same thing here, right? Where ultimately, what Arthur is offering sounds amazing. It sounds good. It sounds freeing, liberating. Ultimately, you don't have to worry about anything ever. But especially the way it's been established so far, it's destroying the real world. It's ripping families apart. It's not even a truly happy place. Look at Anfuin. And those who lose things and come to this world, especially the loss of life, only get to live with temporary false illusions that do nothing but make them refuse to move on from what they should do and refuse and stop their development as people as they keep aging, as they keep growing. So ultimately, there's nothing in this Camelot, especially, that I'd be down for. And I get it for someone like Theodora. Theodora's in a really weird spot, a really rough spot. But ultimately, because of the poison, he literally cannot live outside of Camelot. He would die, pretty much. We don't know immediately, because presumably he's going to be leaving Camelot soon. But he'd die if he didn't have Camelot. So for something like that, it's different, because he's still at least a real person, as far as we know. He's not a fake thing. He's aged, so he has to be real. But in terms of everything else, yeah, there's nothing. Camelot doesn't call me. It just doesn't feel like it'd be right. Once again, I'm super heavily biased, and luckily enough, have lived a really nice life. We'll see. That's how it works, right? All right, let's see what this is. Did the man just... Did he deflect space slashes? Yeah. Well, I'm guessing if his thing is... He probably, once again, using Hazy Moon, reflected away the magic, right? Because it looks like these slashes, they don't get dispersed. They just go around him. So, alright. So yeah, Hazy Moon is cracked. It's like it really is like a super evolved full counter, because I'm assuming what he's going to do, or what he could do, is something that he did to, and now I think about it, this is even crazier. He's doing all this with no aura flexing, by the way. This is all his base casual lands. But, with it being the case, if I remember, since I reread recently, I remember in part 1, he used Hazy Moon against Nanashi to absorb his strongest attack and then pull it into his own power and launch it right back at Nanashi. So he's probably about to do something similar here to the Knights. Let's see. No way. All those... Percy, if you don't heal these poor people... Let's see. All those slashes from him. They're dancing all right around... Yeah, okay, so he deflected and captured them. They're dancing all right around Lancelot. Oh, dancing around... So, like, he made them all miss. No, not just that. Just like the other attacks from the four evils. They're being thrown into a spiral... into a spiral-like muddy river, ending at the tip of his blade. So this is interesting. This is an evolved application of Hazy Moon. So this contains the ice. But then again, I only see the 2 attacks, right? I see riding Hierophant. I see the slashes. I'm guessing this energy is meant to be the force of Pelgard, and maybe World Aid's ice? I'm not sure. I can't see the ice inspiration here. Oh, but all the 4 evils are like, wait, we may not jump together, but we'll run together. They all run away. Let's see. Don't you dare run on me. He can one-shot them all, is it? The moon of the... What? The what? The moon of the 18. What is that? Let's see. Me too. Go... Huh? Yeah, yeah, okay. Tristan and Lance, as much as I do love the Lance and Percy dynamic, I think Tristan and Lance have a dynamic I love almost just as much, because Tristan was not worried. He's not worried. He's straight up smiling. Still refusing to heal himself for some reason. He's still just smiling here. And as everyone else was worried, he's like, we're fine. And even then, even earlier on, does he even comment in the same way that Percy and them comment? Let's see. Yeah, they're worried about him taking him on alone. Tristan doesn't even say a word. Tristan has been silent throughout this entire chapter. He's like, Lance has got it. Tristan's us right now. He's like, Lance has got it. Like this is life, like this is no problem at all. But darn, all right, let's see. Moon of the 8th Sea. Tristan smiling. Hauser and Pelio shot. Gareth is like, I thought Percy was strong. Who is this man? And then Anne and Nasiads. Oh. Oh, what is this? What is this meant to be blood, or is this meant to be the chaos he's trying to rip out of them? Because this looks like blood, like the splatter, the clouds around them. That looks like it could be blood, but this may be actually some of the chaos he's trying to rip out. And we know chaos is a form of magic, so maybe Lance is using Hazy Moon to attract the chaos from them. That would explain how in that premonition of the future that Guinevere had at the start of part 2, the 4 evils were back in their human form, right? Because the chaos was ripped out of them. So that could explain it. I don't know. We'll see. But also in there, we saw Lance, or at least what we presume is Lance, wielding a spear and killing bombs. Like, there's still a lot of things we're missing. Let's see. Slashes everything. Boom. Flap. Flap. Why are they all flapping everywhere? Let's see. Don't think I'm done with you yet. Lance, what else do you have to do to them? You haven't even activated your aura. But all right. That's the... Oh, another cover page. Oh, I didn't even realize I didn't read the chapter. Chapter 205, by his strength. I'm still not a big fan of the Guinevere thing. Because, like, she's 14, isn't she? I know that's normal during this time period, but it's so weird. Like, she's 14 and leading on Lance like this. But this does at least imply that Lance this does fulfill the prophecy from part 1, right? Where she says, oh, you met me later in the tower I was being kept in. So Lance probably maybe that's why he's running about through Camelot. He's, like, consistently hunting for Guinevere as well. And found her, but probably wasn't able to remove her because of something that Arthur did. But alright, so here's Lance and Gwen. I'm guessing we're probably going to see her soon then, if we're getting a reference to her on the color page. But very interesting, very interesting. This is still... And he does look very dripped out. Very dripped out. Love Lance. But, let me level with you real quick. As cool as this chapter is, as amazing as this chapter is, because I love it. I love seeing Lance show off. I love seeing everyone regain their faith, or some certain characters maintain their faith. Like I said, Tristan was perfectly confident. Seeing new characters gain the faith, such as Garrett, being like, who is this guy? And why? How is he this strong? I bet Ballin right now, we don't see him in this chapter, but he's like... like, Ballin is probably tweaking out his mind right now. Like, this guy this strong? And y'all didn't tell me? But all that aside, in fact, I would love Lance to, like, try and slash at Ballin while he has the physical immunity up, and he's like, wait, you can do that? Like, I can swing on you? What? But with that all being the case, we've run into the same narrative issue we had towards the end of part 1, I will admit. With Lance here, with the strongest character in... Hey, where is it? Where does the daughter say it? With Lancelotto. Where is it? The strongest man there is. With him here. And the 4 evils not being comp. And Lance, very specifically, because here's what I think Nakaba was attempting to do with this chapter. He didn't want this chapter to be a Lance aura showcase, right? Like, you can tell by how he's being presented, how he's not even fussing against aura, how he uses all their attacks against them, how he neutralizes all of them so easily. It definitely is meant to be a Lance showcase. Essentially, it has been over 80 chapters since we last saw Lance in action. And let's see Nakaba be like, hey, just in case you forgot, he's still him. So, with that being the case, this chapter is meant to do that. But at the same time, it's meant to show how Lance is not needed here realistically. How the 4 evils and the 4 knights could have had more direct competition if they just played their matchup smarter. When Lance goes on to defeat all these 4, he doesn't just do it and be like, oh yeah, none of y'all are comp to them and none of them are comp to me. He's like, aren't you guys giving yourself too little credit? He's saying if you picked your matchups better, you would have at least been able to compete. For here, he literally critiques Tristan. Like, dude, you could have ran full counter against this one, and you could just use your literal base biology, something you don't have to work for, to overcome this, and boomer, right? Or if not boomer, interact with her and slow her down. For this, I'll admit the excuse he gives for Pelgar's collapsed chariot is a little bit weak. It's like, Percy, you could just regen through this, but like, that is kind of rough, but still, it is a way that Percy could have done it if he had matchup against Pelgar. But we know Percy didn't match up against Pelgar, he matched up against Worldane. We know Tristan didn't match up against, Worldane, he matched up against Pelgar, and then got bisected by Beltreep. And then Ironside didn't match up against Gawain, he got matched up against Percy. Again. So like, ultimately, all that could have, in that leads to Gawain's excuse being the idea that she could have held him down if she focused him physically or magically. So essentially, Lance is explaining, and through Lance, Nakaba is explaining, hey, the four evils are still relevant threats, but our actual main cast beside Lance could do something about them, except for Beltreat. Notably, Lance even says, yeah, he'd be tough for you guys. Maybe. So he says, maybe if all three of them ganked Beltreat, they'd be able to do something to him, even with his division magic. But we run into the issue, right? While it's cool to see that they could have been comp, retroactively, they weren't comp. Once again, it was the stomp flipping, where the knights were curb stomping, then they got curb stomped, and now Lance shows up and curb stomps again. And it's not like Lance is an impermanent character. Unless Arthur falls out the sky, seals Lance away, and is like, deuces, and then runs off. Lance is now part of the narrative. Sure, Percy, Gawain, and Tristan could have beaten the four evils, or at least put up a better fight here and now. But we didn't. Not only do we not get to see that fight, but also with Lance here, the rest of the four knights are redundant. Unless Arthur does get a massive Camelot-based amp, and he still needs the other knights to catch up to him to be relevant, what does he need them for? He just viciously diffed all four of them. Admittedly, they weren't jumping him all at once, but still, it looks like, at least stat-wise, he could handle it, considering he hasn't even activated his aura. Lance is really, really cool. Lance is really, really strong, but now we've run into the same issue before where he shatters the narrative. How am I supposed to believe that anything's going to be a real threat as long as he's here? It's the Escanor problem, but at least Escanor got introduced to comp eventually. He was new characters were added to the meta that could compete with Escanor, or certain characters who seemed like they couldn't compete with Escanor before got meta buffs, like Zeldris, instead of Esterosa. Like, Esterosa had everyone believing Escanor was basically unstoppable, but then Meliodas came in, put the pause on Escanor a little bit, and then Zeldris came in and put the pause on Escanor for a little bit. So, like, the Escanor, believable powerhouse, but still had weaknesses and still could be worked around. There is no contingency or weakness to Lance. He just has the best stats. He just has a broken magic. He just has a sacred trait that doesn't even fit to him. He still hasn't grown his wings. He's still he's still so far from his full potential, and he's so far above everybody else that, like, I don't know what the plan is. And especially considering I don't think we're gonna fight Arthur right now. I don't think Four Knights is ending in 20 chapters with Lance just soloing everybody. I don't know how we're gonna write this story at all. Like that's the thing. Obviously, I trust Nakaba Suzuki, right? He's cooked with overpowered characters before. But very specifically with Lance here, I can't really picture how... Oh! Whew. There we go. I got that in right. But I can't really picture how Nakaba is going to be able to write around Lance. And the way he wrote around Lance in part 1 was by having Lance consistently doing something else. And he could do that again, but why would he go off and do something else right now? They're presumably going to be traveling together from this point on. And now they have the one thing they needed in part 1, which stopped them from acting before. They have the keys to Camelot. They're in Camelot right now. So, like, I'm not sure how we're going to write power stakes with Lance in the narrative, unless Lance literally stands back and says, you fight now. You do this. You do that. But even then, Lance is always going to be there. It was the Gojo problem for JJK, which is why he locked him in a box. And it's currently the Descados problem in Ichi the Witch, where ultimately having a character that powerful, the strongest in the verse, presumably, just chilling around at all times, isn't necessarily good for your plot progression or your narrative stakes. So that's my one worry. My one issue with this chapter. By having Lance truly be tiers upon tiers upon tiers above even the super chaos buff 4 evils, unless they're going to get another chaos amp on top of this that will allow them to go where it fully removes their ability to speak and they're fully inhuman and just chaotic beasts. I have no idea. Arthur himself needs to show up now for any stakes to exist, or Arthur needs to introduce a tier above the 4 evils, which is possible but doesn't seem to be foreshadowed at all. So I don't know. I'm very, very, very happy with this chapter. In fact, you're going to see me, I'm going to give it the worthiness, but I am worried for the fate of Four Knights and its stakes, considering Lance is here. I don't see how Lance is going to not be here anytime soon. But overall, 2 W chapters. 2 amazingly W chapters. If you made it all the way to the end of this chunker of a video, please do me a favor and leave... Right? It works. Literally, I'm rearranging these words. Right? It works. Right here. Right? It works. In the comment section down below. And then thank you so much for watching. Leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe. Make sure that all the case posts you don't miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, you can have a Please down below, use word me for as low as $1, get a month. Things like exclusive videos, early content, and more. Also now become a member of the channel for as low as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. So those perks include live reactions, area this to review, and variations of all my videos. If you become a $12 on Patreon and $12 member, you can order whatever video you want. Also the link to my co-plan down below. You drop 5 minutes for a short video, $20 a small video, or any all. Any support is always greatly appreciated. Now, I'd like to thank you so much for watching once again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is That Guy with the Pencil, writing off. I'd like to give a thank you to our sketch tier members: Eternal Flame, Red Wolf 4765, Astro, Glacier XZ, Zera, Brandon Payne, J2MA, Guillaume, Buddha Ura, Alex Kenny, Enzo, Swift Strike, Autumn Mornings Lazo, Super Flame Zero, Yuki Ally, Azo2404, and G Prosper. And I'd like to give a thank you to our line art tier patrons: Victor Raji, Sean, Midnight Lord 21, Kevin Encarnacion, Dreadzoen, and A+A. I'd like to give a big old thank you to our Ink tier members: Austin Wimberly, Euchia, and Shrimpo the Shrimp. And I'd like to give a thank you to our digital art tier members: Jay Warrior and AZ Void. And I'd like to give a final thank you to our colored art tier patrons: Waki Munoz and Waki Munoz.